Welcome everyone today to Cryptodaro. I'm your host, Dungeon Knight Wizard. No, I'm just kidding. Today I'm going to be getting interviewed by your man himself, Cryptodaro. We're going to be right back, but in the meantime, like, subscribe to this channel, and we're going to tell you more about Generative Dungeons soon.
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I think you heard Dungeon Knight. Today we are talking about Generative Dungeons. It's an amazing Ethereum playable RPG NFT game where you can be your own CEO of your own game. So Generative Dungeons has also about 3000 dungeon NFTs and their own avatar collection, which also is playable in the Generative Dungeons themselves. Dungeon Knight is one of the core team members of Generative Dungeons, and today we want to interview him. So yeah, Dungeon Knight, welcome to the stage.
Hey, Cryptodaro, thanks for having me.
It's my first interview, so it's amazing to talk to you, and I would like that you introduce yourself to the community so everyone knows who you are.
Sure, absolutely. My name's Dungeon Knight Wizard, or the Generative Dungeon Wizard. I'm serving over at the Generative Dungeons project. What's Generative Dungeons? Well, it's a 3,000 token NFT that is a playable RPG NFT. So you can actually go on Opensea, click to start, and you can jump straight into a game. But that is only like the touching the surface. I've been with Generative Dungeon for over a year now. And since that stage that I joined, I've come to love this project. I first found about it on Wendio. I first heard about it. And as soon as I heard that you could play an NFT, I knew that something good was cooking. I jumped in the server. It only had about 30, maybe 40 people at the time. And I worked my way up the ranks, started loving the project more, knowing more about it, investing into the project. And now I'm actually one of the lead team members for Generative Dungeon. I run a lot of quests and tournaments. Every Friday night we have a tournament. I run little games in our server, and it's all done on this playable NFT.
That's amazing. So on these tournaments, are there any like kind of rewards for playing them?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are releasing a play and win and a play to earn port eventually. That's probably about a month behind our schedule, which was meant to be this month. So we're hoping next month it could be open for everyone. This stage, what we do is we give away the prizes manually, which is surprisingly easy to do. These dungeons are fully editable. So what I can do is go into the dungeon. I can put prizes in the form of a lore book, and this prize can be collectible on Discord. It can be collectible via Twitter, any which way I want, email. And the people can go into the game, play the game, find the rewards, or they can go into the game and complete certain quests, and then come back later and submit their quest to me. And if they've completed the quest correctly, they earn themselves prizes, and that could be, NFTs, it could be whitelists. We've given away a lot of Ethereum, a few legendary prizes, other NFTs from other projects as well. I mean, it's been a lot of fun. We play with other projects every week, it's just so much fun to be able to in control 100% of your own game, if that makes sense, because they are all editable.
Yes, I absolutely understand this. I will put the link of the Player NFTs Discord from your Generative Dungeons project in the video description, so everybody who wants to join can also join this directly to get started. And
Yeah, absolutely.
as you
Guys,
mentioned,
come on
yeah.
over and check it out. It's actually got a very special human verification to get into the server. So if you do join, this is something it might seem a little tedious at first. There's a reason why we've only ever kicked out 2 bots and 2 cheats in our server in about just under a year.
Wow, I saw the verification system, and it's the best I ever saw. That's really cool.
It's a fun way to get verified. It's not
Yes,
tedious like a captcha.
and also other NFT projects, for example, can use this, right?
That's right. If you hold a dungeon, you can control it, but there's actually a lot of them that are still unlocked by the owners. Most of mine, because I run competitions, I edit them, I update them. I avoid cheats by keeping my updates happening. There's a lot out there that are unlocked, and some Discords actually put them in their server as an arcade. So rather than just having the traditional Royal Rumbles, having the Smash Carts, poker, RPG, things like that, can now actually have an arcade game in their server, and that's completely free. There are a few projects we've been integrating, and that's still open for people. If you own 2 of our dungeons, we can actually integrate your avatar into the game. So this now means that we'll have your own arcade game in your server. It's 100% yours. And over time, we release new tile sets and new items, etc. So it's a dungeon game now, but pretty soon, and this is a bit of alpha, we're going to be releasing a space version of the game, a space tile set. So if you're a Star Wars fan or if you're in an NFT community that's more about space, the dungeons may not be appealing. Now you can play as one of your space characters inside one of our dungeons by being an integrated partner.
Never heard that before. So that's really alpha. That's crazy. Nice.
Yeah, it really is.
Cool. I also saw you can just like scroll into OpenSea on your collection and play a huge amount of dungeons, which are all their own games. That's such a cool feature I saw. And you said that you can play generative dungeons and generative avatars, and you can play them in different ways, right? There's like a PvP system for the generative avatars also. Can you introduce us to this?
Yeah, sure. So Generative Avatars is our second collection. That was released August 14, 2022. What you could do with them is, well, you really got to look at them to see how cool they are. Got a 2 times PFP, so you have an animated version and also a pixelated version. They come with their own theme song, which you completely own, and they also come with a little sword button in the top right corner. And you click that sword button, and that will take you into the first player versus player NFT that was made. And that was by us. Super stoked about saying that. So not only can you play them as their own game with friends, you can have up to 32 friends play on the same NFT, and if they're open, it's free. You can also take those avatars inside of a generative dungeon and play as your own personal avatar. That gives you that sense of, uniqueness when you play the game, and your achievements are all your own. There's not other people doing the same thing, as your avatars all have different traits inside the dungeons.
Okay. And for the dungeons itself, there are also like leaderboards, right? Where you can track how good you are and compete with others.
That's right. So on our website, we have a main leaderboard and it captures everything. But also, as an owner, you have the ability to remove high scores from your own section of leaderboards. So if you have a player that you think has won too many times and you want to give someone else a chance to win, so it looks better on the leaderboard, you as the owner can delete that character out of the leaderboard. You can also clear the leaderboard. So if you do weekly events, for example, you can clear that leaderboard and then see each week who's got the best scores and things like that. And it keeps some interaction in your server, and you can mix it up as much as you want to.
Yes, you can also use it if you are a dungeon owner and just want to be the best on your dungeon.
Yes, you could do that. Many people would believe it though, but yes, you can do it.
Okay, that's a great way. So I saw on your roadmap that there's a part of the roadmap which is called generative quests. What is generative quests?
This is where it starts to get really exciting, actually. So currently, we have a two-dimensional RPG NFT that you can play, and it's integratable with other avatars, interoperable with other NFTs. Our Generative Quests, our next release, is going to allow you to play dungeon experience in a 3D environment. Not only that, it opens up the world to a whole bunch of unique extra items, inventories, systems that are going to come into play. One of the first systems that I'm really excited about is that I can take my edited 2D dungeons and play them in 3D without having to be a 3D designer to know how to do it or have experience in 3D design. This is also going to allow us to have other things being additional to the game. So you'll be able to have traits upgradable. You'll be able to buy new spells, be able to find special items in game. We're releasing a new token as well. So when you're playing in the game, completing certain quests, you can earn extra rewards, which you can then use those rewards to go to our marketplace and buy certain items or upgrades. So that can vary from buying swords and shields um, all the way up to being able to buy whitelists from premium servers that might be releasing some premium projects. So, I mean, the versatility there is going to be incredible. But the biggest thing everyone's excited about is it won't just be a one-player arcade game anymore. You'll be able to go with parties very similar to like a Diablo-style party system, where each of your avatars can be completely different, and if you work together, you can achieve more in-depth quests through the game.
Wow, that's
Kind of
also
cool, right?
alpha. I never heard that before also.
This is just our next step because, I mean, the real thing about GD, our developer, Dungeon Master himself, when he started building this, it was always out of love, the love of gaming, and he wanted to build his own game. And someone challenged him, saying that they couldn't make an NFT playable. So he said, "Challenge accepted. Hold my keg and watch this." And he went and built in the first collection, the first 3,000 that we released. You'll notice the tile sets go from ASC2, ASCII, or ASIC, depending how you like to say it, that format of playing, and it gets up to 32 by 32 orthogonal. So the games in themselves are unique, is that you can play them in those different styles of eras from different computing games and things like that. So our goals are obviously to improve on not only the games, but going with the evolution of gaming. And one day, I mean, I personally would love to see us getting our AR and VR completed as a new addition to Generative Dungeons too.
If you can do this, I think this project will get the floor price of 10 Ethereum.
Yeah,
This would be
uh,
crazy.
wouldn't surprise me. I think our highest sale was over 12 ETH
What?
before we added all these extras. Yeah,
Wow. So yeah,
highest that was 12.8 ETH from memory.
I also think that just if you implement the play to earn and the generative quest itself, it will be a amazing, much bigger floor price than it is right now. But
Oh, yeah, agreed.
I just wanted to ask about the 3D. I can't imagine how to turn a 2D generative dungeon into a 3D. So how do you do this? Or how do you also integrate these avatars from different other NFT collections into your games? How does this work?
Well, we got to keep some secrets, but it's not really a big secret. What I can say is that Dungeon Master is probably one of the most incredible coders that I've ever come across, and he never ceases to surprise me what he can do. So we're going to say, you've asked the wizard, how is it done? And I'm simply going to say magic.
Okay, I understand. Yes, it's also important to keep some secrets for these important things. So, what new systems are going to be in place for generative quests?
Like I was saying, it's going to be actually a lot of things added on. So as dungeon owners, you're going to get a lot of benefits that you probably couldn't get by holding NFTs traditionally. We're bringing in a renting system for dungeons and the avatars. So, I mean, if we have the bigger competitions, and in order to participate in a particular competition, say you need a dwarf and there's none on the floor, you don't own one, well, you now have an option to go in and to a marketplace and actually lease one of these avatars, or even lease a dungeon. So, if you can imagine, a lot of mine have been built up very heavily. I've changed the game from just being a rogue hack, a generated style game as they traditionally were made for. And I've turned them into more like a turn-based Zelda experience. And you can take a game and really change it around in a way that other people want it, and they don't know your tricks or how to do it or don't have the time. Well, they can now lease this dungeon if they want to use it in their server for a competition, or if they want to run something with it, or if they'd like to do a promotion with it. These options will be all open for dungeon owners and avatar owners. But I mean, on top of that, being able to go in and buying new armor, you'll be able to level up your character significantly and store the data now. So the traditional generative dungeons, when you play the game, it's very arcade style. You'd finish the game, get your high score, you'd get the information, and then you'd restart all over again. Well, with the expansion with Generative Quest, you're going to be able to level your character up over time, store the data on blockchain, and you're going to increase the value of your avatar if it ever goes on sale on Opensea. Not only that, you can earn these NFTs, in-game NFTs, which can also be traded on the marketplace.
Which kind of in-game NFTs will there be?
There'll be things like swords, legendary items, so and weapons, armor, specialty spells. There'll be a lot of things. I'm not going to spoil all of it, but you get a general idea. But we do have a significant number of changes and additions that are going to be coming.
And will this be then on the Polygon blockchain?
Yes, more than likely. It'll been looking at the success of it so far. We like it. We already have our Goblins Bazaar, which is our first marketplace that runs completely on Polygon Matic, and we love it. It's great, and so more than likely we're going to continue with that.
Yes, okay. I also wanted to ask about the play to earn income method. So you mentioned that there will be the method to rent out your dungeons to earn from this. Also, you can win or earn in-game NFT items. You can level up your avatar to get better stats on this and sell them then on a higher price on OpenSea, for example. Are there also any other methods to earn money or cryptocurrencies or NFTs from generative dungeons?
Well, as a owner, you are the CEO of your own dungeon. So, I mean, services is one way. So, we're not talking about passive income here, but services you may offer. If you like editing games, there are people that really want new games created for them. And if you know how to build Generative Dungeon, you can actually put that up as a service, whether it's in our marketplace or in the Generative Quest marketplace when it's released, where you'll be able to build for other communities around the world. So even if you're not a player, but you're a passive builder, you can still generate an income just from that. I mean, you can do a lot of things as the owner because there's no restrictions. So if you have a really good dungeon you have built and people want to play it, well, why not put promotions inside of your game, just like any other metaverse? Because every generative dungeon basically is its own metaverse, its own playable metaverse.
Yes, other projects have like one metaverse, you have 3,000.
Yeah, we like to call it the dungeon verse or the dungeon multiverse, I think it was called.
Yes, this sounds good. So you also said that there is a new cryptocurrency or a new token which you will be developing or deploying. Which are the methods to earn this one?
That's still in discussion, but
Okay.
most of the generative quests items that you can win will be our second token. We have our DNG token currently, and that is distributed to holders uh, via staking rewards. So when they earn these tokens, they can use them on the current bazaar, and that allows them to get, the whitelists and any other item we have for sale up on the bazaar, free mints, etc. The new token, well, a lot more information is going to come back out about that later. For now, what I can tell you is they're going to be separate. So what's earned by staking isn't the same as what's earned by playing. So this reduces the chance of whale holders now just dumping on the market and getting rid of their DNG later on. Values are going to be different, of course. So the player's value token will be different to the holder's value of token. Yeah, we'll definitely release more information on that. If you guys are interested, just keep up to date with this on Twitter with Gen Dungeon on Twitter. And as we release more information, you can find out about it there. And of course, our docs will be updated accordingly too.
Yes, I would love to get updated on this. It's very, very interesting for me. And I don't
Yeah,
know
definitely give us a follow and a notifications on Twitter.
how. Yes, and definitely join the Discord for generative dungeons also. Link in the description. I don't know how to ask this pre-last question. Is generative quest like a new game mode? So I still don't understand how does this work. I mean, it's like you have your dungeon and this quest, is this generative quest like an NFT? Or how can I imagine this?
Well, we originally were going to release it as an NFT, but then we decided, it may take away attention from the original Generative Dungeon NFT, which is what it's meant to be focused on. What may happen, this isn't locked in yet, but we may distribute the Generative Quest directly to all the owners. An option to sell, I guess. Um, we got a couple of paths to take on that yet. What we don't want to do is just, drop the floor on our original mints of our Generative Dungeons. Uh, we want to make everything work well together. We want it to work with each other. So Generative Quest, though it may be a separate unit altogether, it's not necessarily going to be an NFT yet, but that's something else we'll update everyone with soon.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that the floor price of the dungeon is also important for sure. I'm really, really excited about this. The play to earn aspects for me are something which is, I think the floor price will rise like it's making 5x or more if people realize how strong this project is, but this will be the future. So the very, very last important question is, when will you release the play to earn? When will you release generative quests? When can we expect any updates?
At the moment, stand by. The updates will probably be coming on our birthday, actually, which is going to be February 3rd. That's not too far away. We'll
Yes.
be releasing a couple of sneak peeks. We'll be releasing a little bit extra information on pretty much the project as a whole. Not only that, we've got a couple of big birthday competitions that are going to be coming. We've got our integrated partners challenge. Um, so we've actually got a really big schedule, surprisingly. So even if Generative Quest takes a little longer to come out, we're still going to be busy in the process. But we'll definitely have some more information out February 3rd for our GD birthday.
All right. Can you give us some alpha like we already got with the tileset spaces and the play to earn stuff?
Yeah, something real simple, Alpha. I'm not going to give too much away, but if you don't own a generative dungeon now, um, I highly doubt you'll have a chance to get one in the future. We've gone above and beyond the expectations of what originally thought could be done with an NFT, and we continue to build, and we're being very successful. We're delivering on time, false promises. There's no hype in our community. We don't do any heavy marketing. We don't run any bots. So, Generative Dungeon, you'll find, is very organic, and we've got a pretty strong set of holders. Last time I checked, we had 75%. Was it 70? Yeah, 74 or 75% of all of our Generative Dungeons were staked. And it's been like that since pretty much mint, so almost a year. I think we got up to about 80% at one stage of holders. Yeah, we've got a very strong community.
Yes, for sure. It's making just sense to stake this because you can just like get free whitelist spots and everything else on your own bazaar, which is on your website also, so people can check this out if they are interested into it. So thank you, Dungeon Knight, for this amazing interview. We got a few alpha out there, and I hope you enjoyed it also. It was nice to speak to you. Check out my other videos about generative dungeons. There are amazing much information you need to know if you want to join this project. The invest into this project isn't also very high. You can join it for like, I think right now it's $200, right, for a dungeon?
About 0.15 ETH, I think the floor is at the moment for the commons.
Yes, so you can stake it and use the DNG in the bazaar. So it's a so it's an amazing opportunity. And also check out the Generative Dungeon YouTube channel itself. There are a few tutorials also about the editor because the editor is such a huge tool to edit your dungeon itself. And that's it from my side. Dungeon Knight, do you have any other words to tell us?
Oh, I just want to say thank you for the interview today. I've had a really good time. And yeah, guys, be sure to check out the other videos. The ones on the Generative Dungeon server are tutorials, and they will really give you the nuts and bolts of what you can do with an NFT that's not only playable, editable, interoperable, soon to be in 3D. Once again, thanks for having me on Cryptodaro.
For sure. Thank you too, and have a nice time.
All right, take care, everyone.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.